My view is the US understands crypto, understands that it is the answer to the future, but they need to throttle it because if you create the bank run on the entire system, then the unintended consequences are simply gigantic. That's kind of everybody losing their jobs, the entire system breaking apart, the entire system of the United States as being the world leader, or Europe, and all of this falls apart. They don't want that. But I think they understand that there is a future here, but there's a battle to get people across because some people can't stand it. They don't like the idea of it. Other people understand it, but don't want it to happen too fast. And I get that. So I think that there will be an ongoing war. And if Balaji gets across what he wants to do, which is get more people to move out of the system into the Bitcoin market, we'll see the pushback coming. But it happens very quickly because the mob is pretty fast, as we know. And the mob with a hive mind who's deciding, let's go to the parallel financial system, they can move really fast. So the government's going to try and stop it. But, they do have, as Punk 6529 talks about, there is a freedom to transact here. You need the ability to do that. And if they go against that, then they're really trying to change the political spectrum entirely. And I think that the pushback would be so gigantic. But it is going to be a fight. But within this fight is a bigger world. The US has been down this route before. It tends to get self-protectory at various points. So after after Nixon left the gold standard, the US essentially had capital controls and foreigners wanted dollars and they couldn't get them. And the flow of dollars and foreign exchange was restricted by the US because they were protective. So what happened was England came up and went, well, we're going to have the FX market here because we don't have the same regulatory issues. We will create regulation to allow it to come. And it became the biggest market on earth. They then innovated again and basically invented the Eurodollar market. And London was the center of the Eurodollar market. The Eurodollars are all dollars that are traded that are outside the US system. And it's gigantic. It's much bigger than the US system itself. And that came out of London. And then it spread to global centers. But London was always the epicenter. Then after that came the derivative market. The US had its listed derivatives, and it didn't want the banks to get involved with structured products and OTC derivatives and all of this stuff. The swaps market, the whole lot, all went to London because London said, we'll change the regulation to get this. So London was the largest financial center in the world by a big margin for a long time. Then comes Brexit, and then comes Basel III. The US cheats on Basel III and says, well, only going to let the big banks have to be regulated in this way so they can't fail. But the small banks, they can do what they want. Guess what? Suddenly it blows up. Europeans forced Basel III on everybody, as did the UK. So they don't have some of the same issues. They've got different issues, obviously. So that whole mechanism plus Brexit meant that the world's capital markets went back to New York. And they've been in New York for the last 10 years or so. The UK is looking like it wants to regulate crypto in a very sensible way. They understand regulatory arbitrage better than any country on earth.